Factorio is an example of how to hook
You, sir, are a fish.
and trap a player into a simple yet satisfying gameplay loop. It shows simply what you can do with setting limits and issues within the environment, and then breaking them, giving the player wonderful satisfaction. The entire game is a puzzle on how you solve a particular issue, and how you crush the proletariat. In this video I'm going to explain exactly what makes that puzzle so deeply satisfying and enjoyable. Automation games are a very small genre, so
Let me break it down for you, Mark.
Automation games are resource management sims, where most or all of your resources are important and critical for operation, where the main objective is to always have more, improve and create a perfectly efficient operation. That's a lot, isn't it? However, it's not hard in context, so let me show you. In most games, you forget about things as you improve. This isn't bad, and the idea of forgetting shitty things and moving on to bigger and better is quite satisfying. The main gameplay loop of survival games, for example, is like that. You start off with stone, maybe wood, and you just continue on into iron or whatever is higher. But you usually just forget about the lower resources. You don't bother thinking about stone once you've got guns or cool new tools. However, this isn't true for automation games. You need 99.9% of all resources to be fast, efficient, and constant. All you need to think about is that you need everything at all times. And, well, it gives you everything to worry about. Always a threat. There's always something to do. And you're always going to be on edge and therefore always be excited. Deja vu. Here are some basics. You need science packs to make new stuff. The more stuff you make, the better your factory. Every one of these packs is very important. That's all you'll ever need to do. To make this easier to understand, I'm going to show you the main gameplay loop of Factorio within the start of the game. When you begin, the lifeblood of your factory is coal. Burner inserters, burner mining drills, stone furnaces. Everything is about coal, and you'll always need it more. But as you continue, everything becomes electrical. So what, coal is left in the dust? It would be if this wasn't an automation game. Let's say steam is a big power source. Yes, you'll need coal for it. But everything past green science, you'll need it for making science packs. So once again, coal is very important. Coal, copper, iron, stone and oil
Now watch this drive.
are all incredibly important for full science automation. If I'm honest, wood doesn't count because it's such a great pain to get rid of it. I consider it a hazard rather than an actual resource. The only outlier is then uranium. However, it's so useful with power and nuclear bombs, it kind of makes up for it. Why is this good? Just wait a little bit and let me connect it to my second point, which is in every hint that games give you, it treats you, forgive my language, like a brain-dead monkey man retard. When your health goes to 0, you die. Really? Wow! Next you're going to tell me, if I want to move forward, I have to press a button. Do you know how much gaming as an industry is worth? In 2024, gaming's estimated revenue was $455 billion fucking dollars. You know art? The beauty of a living, breathing person dedicating their life.
I committed my life to this!
To the creation of emotion within an object or on an object. The thing that has been around, I don't know, 45,000 years? That art makes less revenue. Gaming makes 10 times that. All this to say, I know that I can climb ladders, stop using yellow paint. Over time, showing me new stuff with these hints is fine. Or as they're introduced. But when I die and I see press square to scratch your nutsack, or
Hey Snake, did you know that if you move your leg in front of the other, you walk? Try pressing the W key on your keyboard.
I know I'm excluding the casual gamer, but showing me through good mechanics and non-patronizing ways, and
Use
using
your
brain
brain!
should be the norm,
Use your brain!
especially with such a large amount of games being made and sold. Here's an example. Throughout the original Resident Evil 4,
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
you can see that they wanted you to interact with your gun, by a certain red dot showing. It'll glow more if it's there, right? So if it showed you an object you could probably interact with, it would show that big red dot. Same with the boxes, it gave you a text hint and nothing else. But now, we have yellow paint everywhere, because apparently, massive fucking barrels aren't easy enough to see, apparently. I feel like a fucking iPad kid. No red paint in Factorio, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, there's a guide, but it's not really needed. Look at trains, for example. Place the rails in a loop, then make a locomotive and cargo. Stops are simple. See the arrows? They point in the direction the train will go. Wow!
Wow!
You don't need to tell me that, you just showed me arrows on a screen. Click on them, and you see the conditions on how long you should wait for something. It goes from cargo to empty to time. Isn't that wonderful? If you've ever used Adobe software, you'll know how horribly unintuitive it is. This isn't like that. Everything makes sense. It's a little mini puzzle, and once you figure out each individual mini puzzle, you're really in your groove. You know that a eureka moment? The whole reason you play puzzle games. 5 different mechanics coming together to create one simple strategy. You'll get that feeling with smelter setups, the ratios with science packs, transport, power plants, and so much more. Your brain will never feel so wrinkled. This isn't just me feeling patronized about yellow paint on boxes. It's a simple way of not ripping you out of the immersion of a game. Nothing I hate more is being sucked into a wonderful and majestical world, only there to be obvious player-made hints that completely rips it out for me. Anyway, it brings me back to my first point. How does this all connect? Remember that?
Still alive. Oh, but you're hurting, aren't you? You're hurting for a squirting. Time for your punishment, cockroach!
Bugs are a massive part of Factorio, and it's what you'll be testing the majority of your new technologies on, apart from upgrades to the factory itself. For example, atomic bombs. Combat in games like this, as in games that don't focus on action as its main genre, aren't usually very good. An early game, it really isn't. Tanks aren't fun, and most of these aren't either. But after 100 hours of seeing this, but then doing this, it makes you want to fucking squirt. It's really unfortunate then, that all the good stuff is so far beyond in the tech tree, and it's kind of a slog to get them. Maybe just add some mods. Brings me back to my first point. How does this all connect? Remember that? Automation and being intuitive. Once you get the groove in Factorio, it's very hard to get out of. Instead of explaining it like a normal person, let me tell you this here metaphor. The ultimate form of the groove is shaving your nuts out.
Stay with me now.
You're not worried about the dinner, you're exclusively worried about the task at hand. Exclusively planning the expansion of your iron farms, or how you're going to drive away the local environmentalists. When everything connects like a huge puzzle and you're not ripped out of it by fuck-ass yellow paint, you're feeling fucking racing for hours at a time. It's deeply addictive, not in a, oh my god, this game's gonna ruin my life, but in an itching feeling that the factory must grow. There's no other game like it that sucks me as much as this one does. You can spend 100 hours just like that. It is that immersive. Okay, I say this game isn't for everyone at the end of my vids a lot of the time, but I really think that if you like the sound of locking in mentally and solving factory puzzles over and over again and completely mentally locking in, then hey, you'll probably like this game. Thank you for watching. Sorry for the rushed ending. The factory must grow.
I want you to look at this thing. Really look at it. Do you think it feels love? Do you think there's a soul in there? No, get it out. I don't want it to exist.